everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing some Testhands, this time going second for our pure zombie deck, so I hope you guys are all excited about this. If you guys haven't seen the Testhands going first, then please go and watch that, and of course there is the deck profile as well. However, with that being said, if you do enjoy this kind of content, definitely please consider subscribing, dropping a like, share, comment, all of this really helps. But with that out of the way, let's begin. Alright, so here's an opening hand. It's not the best thing, but I think we could still definitely try to work with this because firstly we do have a zombie world here. We could start off with that, making it really powerful of course, but since we are going second, we could potentially obviously stop the opponent with the Ash, which is very nice of course. But aside from that, what else can we actually do here? Well, I was thinking you could special summon out Yugioh, that would be very nice of course, but I think I'm gonna just use the 1-for-1 with the Yugioh. This will allow us to actually just special summon out our Glow of Bloom, and of course in turn we could link that away and go for something else, though it is up to you what you could potentially go for. So for example, we still haven't done a normal summon, so we could normal summon out the Gozuki and use Gozuki's effect, allowing us to send something to the graveyard, in this case maybe a Mizuki, which would be very nice of course. We take our Gozuki, take our Glow of Bloom, and we're just simply going to link them away, allowing us to go for a Vampire Sucker. In this case we banish off the Glow of Bloom, allowing us to then summon out our Balladrock. So where would that be? Over here, very nice of course. And with that being said, we take our Mizuki, we banish it to the graveyard, banish it from the graveyard that is, and we could special summon any of our zombie monsters. So in this case, if you really wanted to, you could actually just bring out the Yugioh. It has a bit more diversity in that particular case, or versatility, and once that's brought out, a Vampire Sucker activates. So we're going to shuffle our deck. And now we draw one card off the Vampire Sucker since something was summoned out of the grave. We have got here Gozuki, that's very nice. The interesting thing is this, instead of bringing back the Yugioh, I'm just going to go for an extension play here. So let's say we actually brought back our Gozuki in this case. We could then just link away the Gozuki together with our Vampire Sucker and go for, I don't know, a link 3 in this case. A Unicorn would allow you to then spin one of your opponent's monsters, but at the same time what's great is that you could just take this Gozuki's effect in the graveyard and banish off one of your cards. It doesn't really matter what you go for, you could just go for the Ash of course and summon out one more Gozuki, which would be quite nice here, quite decent, and you simply go for your attack and you set this and pass. That's pretty powerful, definitely just really nice there. You still got the negates of course. Alright, so here's an opening hand. It's not bad, but I guess we'll just have to find out. So let's see what we can do here. It's best to wait until you deck thin before you activate the Upstart Goblin. So in this case we're going to go for the Shirinu again, tribute it off, summon out our Unizombie, which would obviously allow us to start off our plays, and we're just going to get rid of the Mizuki of course, makes sense. But we're also going to get rid of our Gozuki, which is definitely a fantastic move. So we're just going to look for that right there. We have Gozuki. We could easily just use Gozuki's effect, banish off the Solitaire, and this will allow us to then summon out one of our cards from our hand, or yeah, I mean whichever you want of course. So probably going to go for the Balladrock, really powerful move already, and if you wanted to, you could also just activate the zombie world right off the bat. Very powerful indeed. But we're just going to banish off the Mizuki, and this will allow us to then summon out our Gozuki. And what's amazing is Gozuki has its additional effect, allowing us to then continue on with the actual ditching off to the grave. So you have two options. You could ditch off the Glow of Bloom, and by ditching off Glow of Bloom you could banish it, summon out another Balladrock. So that's two Balladrocks, very powerful of course. It's essentially going to be an OTK, but we could make it interesting by sending off another Mizuki, and that way when either of these cards actually goes to the graveyard, you could potentially also just extend off that. So I'm gonna go for the more fun play in this case, or the play that has more potential. So we're just gonna go for a Mizuki to the graveyard, and of course we have these two here. I'm gonna take these two and link them away, allowing us to go for our Vampire Sucker. And right off the bat, of course, we could banish off our Mizuki and bring back either of these cards. I'm going to bring back the Uni-Zombie. It has a lot of potential on the board because it is already a tuner monster. So that is definitely fantastic. That will allow us to draw a card off Vampire Sucker. So I'm going to shuffle up our deck. And then we're going to draw a card off Vampire Sucker. So we have over here Gozuki again. Not bad, but not particularly amazing either. I guess what we could do here is just send off the Gozuki, special summon out Jacobolan. That's not necessarily the worst move, but we could also activate Upstart Goblin. In fact, I might do that first just because I want to see what we potentially draw into. So Upstart, and we get into an Ash. That's not bad, but it's not amazing either. I guess we could just keep it in hand. We could always use it on the following turn. Ditch off Gozuki, summon out our Jacobolan, and I mean, this is not necessarily the worst field we have. You know, you could obviously take Uni-Zombie and the Jacobolan, and these two could easily just link themselves away, allowing us to go for whatever we want. So in this case, maybe even Avendred Savior. You could go for Underclock or Verte Anaconda. I mean, think about it like this. You bring out your Underclock Taker, it's pointing to Baladrock, so you simply just decrease your opponent's monster's attack, and you go for the attack there. Your opponent still has to deal with the Ash on the following turn. It's very nice. Alright, so here's an opening hand, very nice. What I can see here, we could work with this, or at least try our best to. So we're just going to go for the Solitaire. The Solitaire will allow us to obviously ditch that off to the graveyard. That's a resource in itself. Bring out the Uni-Zombie. The Uni-Zombie can then ditch off one more card to the graveyard. So think carefully, what do you want to get rid of? We have here Gozuki. Get rid of Gozuki, we ditch off or banish off our Solitaire, and we special summon out one of our monsters from our hand. Think carefully about what you want to go for. I think I'm going to go for a Banshee in this case. So we're just going to summon out the Banshee, but keep in mind Uni-Zombie can still definitely use its effect, because in this case we can take Uni-Zombie and banish off, or at least ditch off one more card. In this case I'll ditch off the Mizuki. I'm going to banish off the Mizuki, summon out our Gozuki, take the Banshee and the Uni-Zombie and link them away, going for our Vampire Sucker. Banish off the Banshee, allowing us to summon out or activate directly from our deck our Zombie World. And of course, Gozuki's effect allows us to ditch off one more card to the graveyard. What do you want to ditch off? Well, let's see. Maybe we can ditch off... What do we have? Oh look, we do have Mizuki. That is very nice. So maybe what I'll actually get rid of in this case is I'll ditch off our Glob Bloom, banish that, and this will allow us to summon out our Baladrock from our deck. A very powerful move, we get a negate anyway. We still have these three cards in the hand, which is all still quite amazing. I mean, it's not necessarily the worst thing ever, but we can banish off Mizuki, summon out our Uni-Zombie. Now let's shuffle our deck to draw off the Vampire Sucker. And finally we draw one off the Sucker. We have another Zombie World, not the worst, well not the best that is, but not the worst either. It is great for setup for the following turn anyway. But we take Uni-Zombie and the Gozuki, and we could easily just Synchro Summon them or Link Summon them away. So in this case you could go for the Underclock Taker just like always, but of course you could easily go for the Masquerena as well. Link Climb into your Avramax. Otherwise you could easily use your Anaconda without any issue. You could also just start off here by going for the Phoenix. You could easily just discard any of these cards, plenty of cards in your hand this time. Otherwise, go for a Red Eyes Necro Zombie, or maybe Dawn Dragster in this particular case, because Dawn Dragster is a negate. So we get something like this. It's pretty nice, and we still have resources to work with in the following turn. Simply set this, and it's not necessarily the worst thing ever, because we have plenty of cards to follow up on. This card here, we have the Unizombie, and at least one more card to discard off the Unizombie, so we are definitely going to be benefiting off this as well. And given that we're guaranteed a zombie world regardless of whether or not this is destroyed or not, just to ditch off the Glow Up Bloom, we're going to get out another Balladrock on the following turn. So this is like a really solid and stable board, but it also gives us the potential to continue in the future. And I think sometimes a lot of decks just go all out and expend all their resources, so to see something happen with this is definitely a really good thing. However, that was pretty much it for today's video. I didn't want to make it too long, so if you guys actually like, I could actually do some bonus test hands for this particular decks, maybe 2 for going first and 2 for going second, but we'll see about that. For the time being, thanks for joining me today. I hope your day was actually a good one. I'll see you all next time.